Hello and welcome to the Mole Confidential Season 5, Episode 1.
Woohoo! Mole is back. So, real quickly, obviously, Kama's here with me, and big thanks to Kama. He helped me here with season 5. So, if it wasn't for Kama, there wouldn't have been a season 5. So, thank you, Kama.
No problem.
So, what are the confidentials? If you haven't watched them in previous seasons, these are things that we record after the episode airs, kind of taking into account your questions, your comments, and things, and showing you some behind the scenes stuff. No spoilers for future episodes, but if you haven't watched episode 1 yet of season 5, go back and watch it. We'll have a link here in the description, pop ups, and all that good stuff, because we are going to show the eliminated players room a little bit later. So if you haven't seen the episode 1, go watch that before you watch this. But we're going to go ahead and get right into your questions, and Kama has the first one.
One of the questions was, when does the Mole air? And it airs every Friday at noon. What's the time zone?
Eastern Daylight Time?
Eastern Daylight Time at 5 p.m. UK time or 6 p.m. German Sweden time.
So, I mean, it's once a week. I don't try to throw them all out quickly. This is not like Netflix where you get the whole season in one bang. So we do them every Friday, and we do the confidentials every Tuesday. So you get 2 moly things each week until the episodes are over. All right, the next question we had was, Mrs. Belbaz no longer AFK. You know, they saw that pop up in the chat of the Minecraft while we were playing Mole. So just in case there was some confusion, I had Mrs. Boz's Minecraft character logged in, and sometimes I would use it to record different angles or like a steady cam on a certain angle. And I'll show a little bit of that in this video when we get to showing one of the previous challenges. I'll show you her view. She wasn't actually there, except I think in one episode or 2 episodes, maybe, Kama was working and couldn't be there during the recording, so I had her help me with a couple things. And I don't want to say what those things were because we haven't got to them yet. So she wasn't playing, but she was kind of as a camera, a third camera, and also obviously helped me a little bit. All right, so somebody else mentioned that I should put the names when they talk in the video. And I can understand that it is problematic because that's a lot of work to go in and like close caption the entire episode. I do put the voices, the heads and the names during the quizzes when they reveal who they think the mole is. So you can see them there. I think the best thing is to just get used to the voices. The first episode's always the toughest, but I think everybody has a pretty distinct voice accent that it's not too hard to pick up. All right, Kama has the next question.
All right, the next question was if all episodes are recorded, and yes, that's mostly because if we record them one by one and then put them out, the players might get another hint at who could be the mole and what else the other players did. So we recorded everything to the finale, so no one has any spoilers in the episodes themselves.
All right, another question came in saying I should show a countdown clock on timed challenges. I'm kind of torn on this, and Kama can give his feedback maybe to what he thinks. But in some of the challenges, I mean, for some challenges, maybe it's not as big a deal, but I kind of feel like it's less, it's anticlimactic for the viewer if they see the players didn't do it in enough time. And I don't know, I felt like it kind of takes something away from the viewer if I show a clock for these challenges because you're going to immediately know they failed versus waiting for me to reveal the time.
Yeah, I think the suspense, just how did they do and how long they took, is gonna be gone if there's a timer. It would be different if it's a countdown, counting down for something like you have a minute to do this, and then it stops, and then there's something else. That would be different. But if it's for a countdown timer where everybody then knows, oh, they did do it or they didn't do it, I would think that could be pretty boring.
Yeah, and I'm happy to hear people's comments and in the comments for this video. I mean, make mention of things that you think. Definitely for future confidentials, we always usually pay most attention to the comments in the current episode of the mole for that. And that's where we see like your comments and thoughts that we kind of try to use in here. So, but there may be some countdowns that you'll see come up, but in some cases, I don't think it's appropriate because I think it takes away from a little bit of the drama. All right, so here we are at challenge 1. Find it and build it. Now, this was kind of what I wanted to do in the first episode was I wanted to have the first challenge from a couple of the other episodes be the first 2 challenges in this first episode of Mole. Don't expect that to be the case, that you're going to see like this entire season being repeats. Some things obviously repeat in Mole, but there are a lot of new challenges. But I kind of wanted to kind of use some of the old challenges with a little spin. This one was fun to watch and fun to see. One of the things that is new this season, and we'll show more about it in other confidentials, is I did do my own plugin to do some of the stuff. One of the things for this challenge is whatever is put in the 4x4 cube over here on the left is what my plugin looks to see if it matches over there. So anything can be put on this left side as your master copy. Once my plugin detected that all of the 4x4 cube was identical, it would automatically play that Ender Dragon growl, which alerted us that the players did it correctly. So it literally is watching every time the players break a block or place a block, it's looking to see if they're correct. And it worked beautifully. And of course, you can see the area that the players went around. You can see all the chests. Some of the screenshots at the end of the episode and some of the views showed Mrs. Boz's view. Kama took some screenshots of this. But they had a very large area to look at. One of the things I'll show here is down in here. This is where the lava was. And right here was a sign from the mole. You will never find out who I am. Love the mole. So that was kind of a sneaky little spot. I don't know if all the players found it. That's definitely a question. If people want to know, they can ask when we get to our reunion. So I don't know what your thoughts were on this challenge, Kama.
I mean, it was the first challenge. It was something semi-easy, I would say. I mean, find it and build it, pretty much. That's because it's the name, so it's pretty easy to understand already. For first challenge, pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, I didn't want to make the object very hard to make. I mean, really, the smelting was most of the work, and I mean, the obsidian normally would be very hard to get, but they did have access to lava where I showed you, so everything was very easy accessible on the surface. They didn't have to go digging down. They could if they wanted to, but I think it went well. The players did do a pretty good job. They were close. Obviously, they could have worked quicker. They could have worked better as a team. Was it the work of the mole? We'll find out in the reunion. All right, so here we are at challenge number 2. Always love the parkour. The hot feet challenge. This is a different course than the previous hot feet. I kind of threw down the course. Kama came in and kind of cleaned it up. He put the kind of the lava-y mountain over there. Kama kind of prettifies the stuff I do because I'm very bad at building. So it's not a very hard course, but people don't really understand the pressure that you feel when you're in the mole and you're on the gun. It does get to you, and the players really are just kind of learning that. And I didn't want to make a challenge that was impossible. I run the courses myself when I build them, and if I can't do it, then I don't think a player should have to do it. I don't want the courses to be you have to be a parkour pro in order to make this. Now, on this challenge, there was also a sign. I smell dead players, love the mole. And players are allowed to look around after the challenge, and they're encouraged to do it, and they should do it, because the players, if they see those signs and there is a quiz question about it, it gives them an advantage. So I think this was a fun challenge. They did well. I mean, Silicon did take the penalty. I wasn't sure if it was going to be used, and it made it very close time wise. If a second player would have taken the penalty, they would have lost. Some of the players ran the course better than others, and I think all in all, they all did pretty well on it. It's up to you guys to determine if there was mole work involved on this challenge. But I don't know what thoughts you had on this one, Kama.
Um, I mean, for as I said before, for like the first episode, people were nervous, so it had to be something that would be easier. Uh, some still messed up, but they managed to pull through in the end, so that was good.
All right, so we like to give a sneak peek each confidential on a challenge. You can see the mole mansion there in the distance. I didn't realize how close it was to this challenge, but here we go. What is this challenge? Any ideas, Kama?
Maybe we're gonna make a farm.
Yeah, it could be. So you'll have to wait until this Friday to see what this challenge is all about. All right, here we are in the eliminated players room from episode 1. If you haven't watched this episode, if you haven't watched episode 1 of Mole, stop now. Otherwise, you're going to know who gets eliminated. But we are in Lizzie's room, and the sign from the mole says, "It wasn't just the lava that burned you. Love the mole." So Lizzie had decorated her room very nice. Sadly for her, she only made it to the first episode. Never want to be the first to go, and this time it was Lizzie. And I will stress, I've had people in earlier seasons that Lizzie was in it saying that I helped Lizzie or gave her information to get further. I don't help anybody. I play this as straight as possible. Would have loved to have seen Lizzie go further, but obviously it didn't happen. So she was the first to go. Previous seasons, she got where she was either with blind luck or skill. Probably more blind luck than anything because she was very young in the first couple that she played in. But she wants to do it again, so you never know. I think she needs to study up on Mole. But a nice room and a nice sign from the mole taunting her. All right, now this is normally in the confidential when we would do the viewer voting, but we always show that a week behind because you're still voting on who you think is the mole for the first episode. So next confidential, we will reveal how you voted for the first episode. So in this one, there is no viewer voting, but if you haven't voted yet, go back to the video for episode 1, watch it. You don't have to watch it again. You can if you want, but click in the description for the voting link and vote on who you think is the mole. And then we will reveal who you guys are voting for currently as the mole. Now, also, we have the very special thing here at the very end. Now, Giz is not here right now, but we're going to try to channel Giz in a minute for this. But I will stress, for the mole comment of the week, coming up in future episodes, you guys can send me a link to like a SoundCloud file, a WAV file, an MP3 file. If you put it on YouTube as a video, I only care about audio, but if you put it on YouTube, make it unlisted so that nobody else can see it. But you can sing the mole comment of the week like Giz, similar to Giz. You can spice it up. You can play a little guitar in the background, ukulele, whatever. Just don't use any copyrighted music like as your backing if you do anything, and try to keep it reasonable. But send me your links, and maybe you will be the person who sings what you're going to hear now.
The mole comment of the week.
This week's mole comment of the week is by TV Vision, and he says, "Yes, it's back."
I know a lot of people have been bugging me about Mole. Mole. It's back. It's here. You get to see it. Hopefully everybody enjoys it. I think it's a good season. And remember, the comments of the week come from your guys' comments in the episode that the confidential is about. So next Friday, this coming Friday, when I think it's January 1st, actually, when the next Mole airs, your comments are what we look for content for the confidential. So comments of the week, questions, whatever it may be, there's your chance. But that's going to do it here for Mole Confidential Season 5, Episode 1. We'll be back in a week with more behind the scenes stuff. And remember, this Friday, Episode 2, you'll see who the next eliminated player is as we march forward to that ultimate question. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the season. Thanks, Kama, for all your help. And if you want to say goodbye, we are going to head out.
Goodbye.